comic. Well, right off the bat, I've got a terrible headache. But I did advertise on Pat Dixon's show that I would do this show. So I gotta do it. But almost didn't. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to see me while I read this. So I'm going to take care of that right now. So glad you're all here. But there goes me. Oh no. Up, that's it. Yep, that's it. All right. So with Peacemaker underway on HBO Max, and I read, one of the Peacemaker comics last week. I thought, hey, you know what? Why not just make a thing of it? Because come October, which is quickly upon us, I was just going to do all horror comics during that month. So I figured, hey, I'll look up these different old Peacemaker comics and read those. Now, as you may recall, last week, where I looked into the background of the character and discovered his earliest days that he originally began as a backup feature in a comic book called The Fightin' Five. Well, The Fightin' Five, I guess, fell on hard times, and then Peacemaker got his own title, and so they became the backup to his title. Funny how that works, isn't it? But anyway, maybe I'll revisit the Fightin' Five stories. I don't know. But I'm just going to jump ahead to the Peacemaker backup feature. And we'll make of that what we can. And then, time permitting, I'll discuss a couple of, comic book movie type things, news. There's a little bit more. And we'll take a look at that. Again, time permitting and all that good stuff. So there he is. Literally, the first title is Introducing the Peacemaker. So this is the first time he appeared in Carlton Comics, The Fightin' Five. I think this is Fighting Five, number 40. And so they dropped him in that comic. And in those days, a lot of comics came out of anthology. A lot of them were just these anthology tales. And that lasted a long time. So a backup story became kind of the norm, and eventually it faded away. Unfortunately, I think something they probably should look into again, but oh well. And so this sort of thing would occur quite a bit. So anyway, a great new addition to the Carlton line of action heroes. Introducing the Peacemaker. And Action Heroes was a part of an initiative that Dick Giordano crafted, where they were going to introduce these superheroes to compete with DC and Marvel. And of course, the Blue Beetle was one of the first they had, because it was an old character that they got control of, and eventually they decided to get Steve Ditko to change him into the Ted Kord version and all that. But anyway, this was the Peacemaker. This is a man who detests war, violence, and the dreadful waste of human life and senseless conflicts between nations. A man who loves peace so much so that he is willing to fight for it. And the only way to do that is to wear this outfit. Yeah. This is the same man. Name? Christopher Smith. Occupation? Envoy to the Geneva Arms Conference. A man dedicated to peace. So when he's doing that job, he, wears normal clothes, Yeah. So anyway, you got all these war scenes. There's some planes dropping bombs. Uh, Looks more akin to World War II, but this is the early 60s. But, and that sort of thing. Oh, boy. And this guy's even using a sword, just whatever it takes. This guy has an iron cross. And you're a little late to the battle, buddy. So anyway, there you go. This would have been the first time anyone saw the Peacemaker. So here we go. We're at the airport. The president is concerned with the border wars in South America. These wars are being provoked, but by who? I am satisfied that none of the great powers are meddling in that area. The countries involved should be buying farm tools, staple foods, and building schools. Instead, they buy tanks and guns and bombers and kill each other in a war neither of them wants. Please fasten your seatbelts. We are going to land at Geneva. A man called Bork is rumored to have sold weapons to both nations. I've begun inquiries into his affairs. I should have some information on him after we land. So, they land. Christopher Smith's secretary briefs him in the car as they leave the airport. Good Lord, she ripped off her briefs and briefed him with them. Bork is believed to have agents operating in the two countries, Mr. Smith. It was reported that they sabotaged buildings, bridges, and inflamed the government. Boy, she really missed her lipstick. Yeah. But I'm too concerned to notice. At this moment, email Bork, the suspected war maker. Wow, Peacemaker and War Maker. It must be, arch enemies or whatever. Anyway, is waiting for Christopher Smith's limousine. It is it is Smith, master. Destroy them. Bam, bam, bam. Bork's men use lightweight automatic weapons, firing explosive bullets, and Christopher Smith seems doomed. Get down, Miss Blair, and stay down. Well done, well done. Now get down there. The master ordered us to get the papers which the American envoy is carrying. They must be in here. Good guess. Oh, no. I guess the driver's dead. Is that supposed to be a bullet shot? He's done then, The briefcase is opened and an odorless, deadly gas is released. What happened to them, Mr. Smith? A precautionary device, Miss Blair, to ensure that these papers wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. All right, then. He's not above poisoning his enemies, A day later, at an embassy dinner, Christopher Smith once more encounters Emil Bork. Mr. Christopher Smith, you will find Mr. Emil Bork interesting. Mr. Bork is attending our peace conference as an advisor. Mr. Bork is well qualified, Excellency. Mr. Bork has some extremely efficient, rapid-fire weapons, I believe. You know them, Mrs. Smith. You are very well informed. There is an adage in your country which indicates that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Too much knowledge, Mr. Smith, can prove fatal. The CIA thinks Bork is plotting to start a brushfire war in their country next. Those diplomats have been warned about Bork, but he seems to have them hoodwinked. Lolly, 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 lolly. Bork will use assassins, saboteurs, bribery, or any other method to achieve his ends. I have only inadequate diplomatic and legal machinery to stop him. Later, in Christopher Smith's private retreat high in the Swiss Alps, Bork is unscrupulous. I've used every means at my disposal to foil his plans. So, I mean, did you bang Miss Blair? You know? I mean, well, I guess that's in between the panels, you know. I detest violence, but because of my inadequacy, thousands of innocent people may die. I must do what I have sworn never to do. In the great cellars, there is a thick steel door. No man except Christopher Smith has ever been in the room beyond it. There is no other way. Inside is an arsenal of the most potent weapons ever devised by man. He has designed all of them, but as a man dedicated to peace and nonviolence, Christopher Smith has sworn to never use any of them. If Bork is permitted to continue, he will involve half the world in his senseless wars. Jeez. He must be stopped, and I cannot succeed with peaceful methods. I've resisted taking this step, but in this case, violence must be met with violence. Although violence is against everything I stand for, there is no other solution. And so, although Christopher Smith has sworn never to use these implements of violence, he reluctantly assumes the role of the Peacemaker, a role he resolves he will only take when there is no other recourse, when violence can only be stopped by violent action. I've got to learn what Bork is up to right now. My new jetpack will take me to him quickly. So he's got a bunch of deadly weapons and a jetpack. So, you know, that's something. This is cool. The new jets give the Peacemaker almost unlimited powers of flight. Yeah, he's flying like super. Good Lord. So, yeah, pretty small little jets, but man, look how well it works. Anyway, now to use full power. Vroom. Built into the marvelously designed headpiece of the Peacemaker is an all-wave radio receiver. And now he gets his first inkling of Bork's next move.
And to inform the master of the 3 members of the Peace Commission are in our custody.
The radio signal emanated from this field.
The master's orders are to execute anyone in our way.
Incredible. I missed. Bork's operatives aren't missing. The Peacemaker wears a thin, pliable body armor, which sheds ordinary... sheds? You mean shields? Anyway, ordinary bullets. Pow, pow. Huh? Although Christopher Smith has lived a life dedicated to peace, yeah, if you say so, as the Peacemaker, he displays an awesome talent for violence, but he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and so isn't aware of the powerful weapon in the hands of Bork's chief assassin until it is too late. Turn around. I must learn who you are before I kill you. I am the Peacemaker. I am the sworn enemy of your kind. I'll tell the master what you said. I've got the laser ray. I can destroy him down to the last molecule. But such an action is against every instinct. I must do it. I've got no choice. Well, there you go. See? You just tell yourself that and it's fine. The Peacemaker aims the laser ray at the weapon instead of the man, and the weapon melts, turning white hot in the assassin's hands. Bork is your master. Where is he? Don't hurt me. He's waiting in that twin jet bomber over there. Is he too late? The powerful jet bomber is taking off as the Peacemaker hurtles toward it. This rocket will pulverize the fool. I can't dodge it. The laser ray detonated it, but I'm in the blast zone.
The fool thought to foil me? Evil pork! Nothing will stop me. And the world goes up in flames. My power will grow and grow.
Oh no. Is this the end of the Peacemaker? Is his noble crusade finished before it has really begun? Don't miss the next exciting chapter of The Peacemaker in the next issue of Fighting 5. Oh no. Oh no. Is that it for Peacemaker? Well, no, it isn't. Actually, there's a follow-up. That's right. So all I got to do is go find that, which, all right, I should have had that ready to go earlier, but, yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. So that's how he began, He's like, oh, I'm so conflicted. But, as long as I wear the superhero outfit, somehow it just feels like I'm doing the right thing anyway, So maybe that's the deal. You just got to wear some superhero outfit. But you're going to need a jetpack that basically has jets the size of your computer speakers, and it's able to generate enough power to carry your whole body up into the sky. You can fly around like Superman and all that good stuff. And oh boy, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? I would think so. And I do. Except, the part about none of that will ever happen in real life. So, don't write letters to Santa Claus saying you want a Peacemaker jetpack. It's not going to happen. Sorry, but that's the way it is. So anyway, over in issue 41, the final issue of Fightin' 5, we find out what became of Peacemaker in his first adventure or mission or whatever. In the last issue of Fighting 5, the Peacemaker had vainly tried to apprehend Emil Burke, evil international criminal. Oh, not Burke, Bork. Bork's method is to embroil nations in wars, and then his agents plunder the devastated lands in the midst of carnage. Gee, sounds familiar. The Peacemaker had found Emil Bork, whatever, as headquarters in the Swiss Alps and attacked Bork's assassins. Bork escaped during the melee with the Peacemaker hot on his heels, but suddenly, in air-to-air rocket zooms at the Peacemaker, he detonates it with his laser ray, but is caught in the blast zone. With the Peacemaker destroyed, nothing can stop me. Oh no, I'm like upside down. Oops, oops. I guess he's trying to look like Vincent Price. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. I thought this would just be introducing Peacemaker Part 2, but it has its own title, The War Peddler. That would be Bork, not Smith. Yeah. So anyway, there he is. There's a bird flying by. Look at this idiot. That's not how you fly, stupid. Anyway, the battered body of the Peacemaker hurtles toward the granite slopes of the Alps below. Is the career of this dedicated man to end so soon? Falling. I remember. Bork's jet fired a rocket. My body armor absorbed some of the shock of the explosion. But I'm going to hit. Must reactivate the jets. The blast caused the flame out. And in the last split second of life left to him, the Peacemaker utilizes full jet power and hurtles clear of the unyielding alpine rock. Phew. Now to return to my castle. Bork is jetting to South America. I've got to get there ahead of him. I'll use my new UX jet fighter. Yeah, it's brand new. It's pretty cool. Just happened to have it parked elsewhere. A short time later, the Peacemaker takes off from his retreat in the Swiss Alps. See, they're two sides of the same coin. You know, you got Warmaker and Peacemaker, and they both have little hideaways in the Swiss Alps. You know, it's too bad. You know, they'd probably be, good pals. But well, they disagree on war and stuff. Anyway, piloting the UX, a secret invention of Christopher Smith, a man dedicated to peace. It is the most potent warplane ever flown, and now the quote-unquote Peacemaker flies from Europe west across the South Atlantic. I could have used my jetpack, but the UX is much faster. I guess so. Probably can hold more fuel too. But CIA has a reserve field on a plateau in the Andes, unattended. It suits my plans perfectly. Huh? But who? Okay. I passed through several radar scanning fields, but I doubt if they'll identify me. The Peacemaker is absolutely correct. General Locoyo receives an air intelligence report of a UFO, unidentified flying object, and dismisses it as unimportant. Signor Presidente, we have a distinguished visitor in our country. See, the man who sent you the limousines and the 10-carat diamond. Yeah. Huh? Oops. Now, General, inform your Presidente that he is giving a dinner for all the ambassadors in this capital tonight. All of them will be told they must attend. But, Signor Bork, they... very well, Signor. The Presidente will do as you suggest. I am sure of it. 1 hour later in his room, Emil Bork nudges the South American continent closer to total war. Yes, you will dynamite the American embassy and leave clues implicating the nation to the south. Our agents will sabotage key installations in key cities in the country to the south, implicating this country. And then Emil Bork makes his entrance, with world-famous diplomats awaiting his pleasure. I wouldn't trust him with an old cigar, but, Ambassador, who is there? Emil Bork, munitions dealer, war maker, spy. Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen. Soon you'll be persona non grata here. What's that crack supposed to mean? Miss, what? Uh, Mr. Bark is working on a little war, most likely, and he'll direct the blame to an innocent nation as usual. Damn. Why did you follow me, Christopher Smith? I work for base, Mr. Bark. Where you go is where I'm needed most. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, I thought that was Chris Smith in disguise. Glasses and a fake mustache. Gee, see, they're not that stupid. Anyway, there are tensions here. Brief me quickly. Well, there have been several border disputes. Emil Bork's agents have committed acts of sabotage, and Bork-controlled papers have blamed these neighboring nations. Troop movements in both countries are heavy. Washington has instructed me to be prepared to get our people out at a moment's notice. At this moment, Bork closes a deal. In return for 50 modern bombers, I will give you title to the tin and uranium mine. Excellent. You will need other weapons. I will notify you of my prize in the morning, after the war has begun. And as they talk, the violence begins with an ear-splitting blast in the American Embassy. Hi, welcome to the American Embassy. Cool, huh? Head for the border. We must dynamite the international bridge. Now Bork's plans are in effect. A telephone call from the wrecked embassy is for the ambassador, and an officer reports to his president. Ask the Marine Guard to man their defense positions. We have just received word that the American Embassy has been attacked. Wait, Senor Bork, do you know anything about this? And just a moment, Bork. Get back inside, fool. Shoot him down. Whoa. Bork will be punished for this. Where's Christopher Smith? He took off through the garden, sir. I heard him muttering something about the failure of peaceful means. Christopher Smith faces the bitter truth. Peace cannot be achieved through normal legal channels. So the peace envoy snaps open the diplomat's briefcase he is never without. I must hurry. Bum, bum, bum. A moment, and then, first, the border. The ambassador says each country has troops massed at the international bridge. Using the mini-jets, which Christopher Smith invented, the Peacemaker speeds toward the border.
They've started their attack. Load weapons. Prepare to fire.
Bork's men fire on both sides and start a war. The word is spoken. In seconds, there will be war. Attack! Attack! Armored divisions swing to the flanks. Airborne infantry deploy. That lead tank gives the orders. Got to stop him. Utilizing the ultrasonic beam, which stuns anyone in its path, the Peacemaker silences the commander-in-chief of the attacking forces, and then duplicates the general's voice to transmit another message on the same frequency. Reference last transmission. Armored divisions and airborne infantry will cease forward movement. The defending forces will open fire. I've got to neutralize them too. I've got a small container of super concentrate. A tiny whiff of nerve gas will paralyze the entire army. Oh, yeah, and it's permanent. Yeah. Overseeing his handiwork, Emil Bork, geez, why do I keep doing, is in his jet, flying low, waiting impatiently for an awful, total war to begin. The orders were given. The war should be well underway. I see what is wrong. That fool, the Peacemaker, is interfering again. Man, that chick really did me a one-over. I got her lipstick smudged all over my chin and elsewhere. I did not plan to use the cobalt bombs, but the Peacemaker will triumph if I don't. Hand me the mic. Operative 7, this is War Man. Cool, huh? Fly the birds. I repeat, this is War Man. Fly the birds. Did he say flip the birds? North of the capital, at a site where pre-aimed short-range atomic missiles have been waiting, Bork's man, Operative 7, pushes the buttons. That's one. This will wipe out a city. This will wipe out another. yeah. He literally says number 7 on his. This is War Man. I'm moving eastward to avoid blast effect. Nothing can stop Bork's vicious plans now. Total war will destroy the continent. But wait, here's the Peacemaker. Will he be in time? With the powerful laser ray, the Peacemaker melts away the bomb casings, and the atomic materials are dissipated harmlessly from 3 of the rockets. Bzz, bzz, bzz. But the 4th is guided by the Peacemaker on an impact path with Bork's jet. Get it away, Peacemaker. I can't die like this. Well, yeah, you can. It is written that those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. It is particularly fitting for Emil Bork to die in such a fashion. That's too bad. He could have had an arch nemesis with this guy, but then he blew him up in his first mission with him. Yeah, that plane's a total loss. I don't know that insurance covers that. Anyway, and so his first fantastic adventure at an end. The Peacemaker vanishes back into Peace Envoy Christopher Smith's briefcase until the next time that world peace is threatened. Don't miss the next issue of Fightin' 5 for the further adventures of the Peacemaker. Well, there is no next issue. It got canceled. But Peacemaker continues on in his own title. And I'll read more of those in future episodes of Mr. Nailsin's Sunday Comics. So there you go. Yep. That's it for Mr. Bork. Hey, Thompson. It's good to know the audio's working. St. Ranger says, UFO. That's right. They thought it was a UFO, but it was Peacemaker. Yeah, it sure was. Oh yeah, I saw this. $20 from Nodak from 2 days ago. Did I play this one? I don't remember, but thank you to Nodak.
Little Doug will do you.
A little me will do you. Thanks for entertaining me in the mornings while I'm working. I very much appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Nodak. I appreciate the $20 and the kind words. So there we go. Super tip from Nodak. I've got to contact them for more voices, I mean, I know mine's good and Pat's okay, but, you need variety and whatnot. All right, that's it for Peacemaker. So now, let's see here. Oh, wait, maybe it would be better if I open these up in their own window. That might make it easier to find. Gotta go look for it. Gotta do this. It's kind of an old story, but we'll go with it, Oh, wait, no, this is the other one. I didn't do it right. Damn it. Hang on. Well, all right. Let's just go ahead and do this. So they got this Clayface movie they're doing. It's low budget and it's crafted to be more of a horror movie. And it's going to be this, about this Batman villain. I thought they would just do it as an Elseworlds thing where it's just a horror movie unto itself, similar to, the Joker movie. But no, this is the Clayface of the DCU Batman. But people are starting to see things, and if you see right here, that looks exactly like the bat symbol of Robert Pattinson's Batman. When all the while they've been saying, no, we're not really going to cross them over and merge them. I still think that's a likely possibility, especially when the talk of merger and sale and everything is in play. And they're taking too long to get to another Batman when they already have one on his way for his second movie, which took too long to get to. And you had a successful Penguin series and that kind of thing. It's just, you might as well just cross them over at this point. Anyway, the image shows a Gotham City Department of Sanitation sticker placed on a dumpster with the familiar bat symbol beside it. The logo is identical to the one used in Pattinson's The Batman. So there you go. So the first story about it was Paramount Skydance was in the running to buy Warner Brothers. And then there was a story that Netflix is also in play and all that sort of stuff. So DC being one of the big IPs that they're trying to get underway to get the best price possible. And you kind of want this to be a solid package, I would think. I mean, they get all of it regardless, but still, Batman's the star. He just is. Superman's a big deal. Superman's the founder of superheroes overall, but certainly DC Comics. But Batman long ago surpassed him in popularity. And since you already have a Batman franchise going, it's just kind of the logical thing to do. Stylistically and stuff, it doesn't quite fit in with James Gunn's Superman, but you just kind of have to just, go along with it. But you see his bat symbol, which appears to have been made out of the gun that killed his parents, that kind of thing. And it's that shape there, So there's plenty of bat symbol stickers they could have used. The idea that they used that one. Yeah. So anyway, Clayface is directed by James Watkins from a script by Mike Flanagan and all that. And then the Batman #2 will open in 2027, October. So I don't know. And, they went back and forth. They said, nah, not happening, not doing it, But the one time they asked Matt Reeves about it was like, well, it's just a way of finding or seeking a means for it to make sense. And that's the deal with him and his reality-based Batman, whereas Superman is clearly not in a reality-based world. So, and he just like, well, Batman mostly deals with, real criminals and stuff like that. Usually, but Clayface would be an unusual one. But sort of these over-the-top gangsters and type things you could do with a reality-based Batman. But if you move him into the DCU, he's more of the fantastical, which is true to DC Comics. But nevertheless, you can do both. But I don't know. The fact that it took so long, and the stories where he had, I don't know, personal problems. I don't know if it was health or what. So there was quite a delay in getting the script done for the sequel. I had thought that the success of the Penguin changed direction and whatnot, and that you needed to have the Penguin have a bigger role in the movie. And I would just say he's the villain. He's the main villain. and just have it Batman versus Penguin type thing. And maybe they have. I mean, there's talk of Mr. Freeze will show up. There was talk of Clayface, but it looks like they've moved that on to its own movie. But maybe he'll show up in the Batman too. I don't know if they're doing it like this, but I would have thought it was the original Clayface, was just a guy in makeup, not the one who is a shapeshifter and all that. But whatever. It's interesting that that symbol is sitting there, so it stirs the pot yet again about the possibilities for Robert Pattinson joining the DCU. And, for him, it's a paycheck one way or the other, so yeah, it could work out. Yeah. So I did a video, posted it yesterday, about this merger there's no point in saying it's just rumors and stuff. It's underway for who wants to buy Warner Brothers. So now this story comes along because Zaslav wants other takers. There was a rumor yesterday about Netflix wanting it, and then all the Snyderverse people were getting excited and all that. Don't know that would happen, but nevertheless, Zaslav wants a bidding war to get the best possible price for the sale. So it says, now the New York Post confirms what Matt McCloin said all along. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is setting the stage to sell the company. And the outlet adds he wants a bidding war to make it happen. Recall how years ago, Matt McCloin's Comic-Con insiders told him that Zaslav's master plan was to split up Warner Brothers for a sale where he could retain Discovery. It's all unfolding exactly as his insiders have said. It's still odd, though, because the split that he's created is Discovery cable entities and all that forms into a separate company. And then the Warner Brothers side for Max and all that in streaming is the Warner Brothers side of the company that Zaslav remains CEO of. They've got a CEO for the other company, which I don't know if that means the guy's just a placeholder till Zaslav comes back into that. That being said, the other company is cable assets, which cable is in decline. So maybe he carves out Discovery streaming out of this when it's all said and done. I don't know. Anyway, the latest from the Post is that while David Ellison's Skydance is preparing a billion dollar offer to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, Zaslav isn't planning to wait around. Instead, it's reported that Zaslav is meeting with his bankers at Goldman Sachs to drum up interest from multiple suitors, including Amazon, Apple, and, as we went over last time, Netflix. Hey, look, it's Batman and Robin. This lines up with what insiders and analysts have been pointing out. Netflix, in particular, continues to be mentioned as a serious candidate. According to a recent report from Variety, Wells Fargo analyst Stephen K. Hall named Netflix the most compelling buyer for Warner Brothers, ahead of other major tech and media buyers. With Warner Brothers Discovery set to split in 2026, separating the studio and streaming division from its network assets, Netflix or another larger company could be positioned to scoop up exactly the parts it wants. The Warner Brothers Studio, HBO, DC, and the various sports contracts, including the NBA and NFL. Oh yeah. So there you go, the IP. According to the New York Post, Zaslav's goal is to drive the company's stock price up to $40 per share. On Thursday, shares jumped nearly 30% after news of Ellison's bid leaked, closing it at just over $16. So they still got a ways to go. If the bidding fails to hit the number he wants, sources for the site say Zaslav will leverage the stock surge to acquire more content instead. Meanwhile, Skydance, so he'll be buying more content for it to... Well, as Skydance's offer has yet to be made official, sources for the site say Zaslav believes Ellison is trying to preempt the larger battle by rushing a bid ahead of other interested buyers. According to the report, Zaslav expects any serious offer from Skydance to be cash heavy, especially if it's going to fend off competition from cash-rich tech companies like Apple or Netflix. Anyway, if Netflix buys Warner Brothers, that would include DC. Who knows? Maybe Zack Snyder would be back on DC. Insiders have always told Matt McCloy that Zack could come back anytime he wants. But when they're under the same company that he now has deals with, and maybe he wants to wait around for that. I don't know. I've also been told that whoever buys Warner Brothers will probably stick with Gunn's new DCU. If Skydance buys WB, IPs they own like Star Trek, Top Gun, and Transformers would join Harry Potter, Batman, and Superman. Netflix doesn't have any superhero IPs. Well, they have that deal with Mark Millar, but unfortunately, the Jupiter's Legacy show didn't take off. But they could produce other stuff. It's just not as well known, the likes of Batman and Superman. So buying Warner Brothers and from that DC would make Netflix even greater competition for Disney. No doubt Harry Potter would also be huge on Netflix. Yes, it would. So there you go. Oh, but could it be that Netflix will become Warner's new sugar daddy? You know, I mean, Warner Brothers would just become the studio that, still exists, but it's, under a new parent company. And, well, that's what they would have. Yep. So, all right, I think that's all there is as far as news goes. And so I'll just have to, what's this? No, that's not, I thought it was something. Anyway, that'll have to do it. The headache has subsided. I took some ibuprofen before I started the show. So that's good. And I'll make that what I can. Boy, I'm only 10 minutes away from a full hour. I would like to get that hour in. Oh, wait, I know. Let's see. Peacemaker. I probably read that story way back when. So what's this? Let's see how this does. Takes a little moment to get it up there. Do I even have any voice left? All right, there we are. Oh, it's already ready to go. Okay, we'll get rid of that. And we will look for that. Nope. Well, why isn't it showing up? No, not that. Is it that? Nope. What? It should be there. Is this? Oh, 14. All right. Maybe I just cancel and then do it again. There it is. Boy, the things you got to do to read Peacemaker. So this was from his first issue. I've seen in my files I'd done a long time ago a Sunday Comics on it, but it appears to have only been the first story. So this is the second story, The Hidden Power. This is Christopher Smith, career diplomat, intellectual, and a man who despises violence in any form. Yet, despite his peace-loving creed. This man can become a harsh, deadly adversary when danger threatens mankind. He is master of every weapon known to man, and he has invented many. But these powerful and secret arms are for the exclusive use of the Peacemaker. Oh no, I'm being attacked by orange lizards. Nuclear energy, this unlimited force, becomes a nightmare in the hands of evil as the Peacemaker searches for the hidden power. It begins at a dinner party where a mouse-like ambassador from a minor Balkan nation suddenly roars like a mad lion.
Your country has behaved boorishly, Smith.
There is silence. Diplomats ponder this weird insult. What does it mean? Christopher Smith dismisses petty anger and injured pride. These cannot be factors in the fates of nations. If Comrade Federnich would elaborate.
I have said enough. The contempt has been expressed. If your nation resents these slurs, you're free to take whatever retaliatory steps you choose. Be warned, however. At the first sign of any such moves, you will all die.
Smirk, smirk, smirk. Across the world, there is wonder. Why did Federnich strike the U.S. peace envoy? His nation has no great fleets of bombers. Or has it? No nuclear bombs are stored inside its borders. What is happening? Is asked in many tongues. Except this guy. He just sharded. Oh dear. Oh no. A report has already been relayed to Washington, D.C. Now, Brigadier General Lyons, United States Air Force, and Christopher Smith discuss this perplexing and mysterious situation. My reconnaissance aircraft have photographed what appear to be nuclear reactors. My intelligence people are amazed. Where do they get the uranium and other vital materials? For that matter, where did they get the money? Oh yeah, that's a good point. This is one of those Balkan nations that's been bullied by Russia, ordered around by NATO and everyone else. If they get hold of some nuclear weapons, once more disaster threatens mankind. And again, it's time for action by the Peacemaker. The long-range Mach 3 fighter I developed is fueled and waiting. Silently, the camouflage doors in the cliffs below Christopher Smith's villa open, and the deadly Mach 3 fighter appears like a lightning flash against the Alps. As the Peacemaker flies above the Balkan nation where trouble is being born, he sees a giant jet cargo plane flying north. The thick plumes of exhaust indicate it is heavy laden. Flying north, a new Mach 1.5 cargo jet. I located the missile complex, and with infrared filters, I saw the new bomber bases. That's why they've got the nerve to insult my country. Another cargo jet. This is flying on a course of 179 degrees true. A loaded jet was flying 359 degrees, so this empty aircraft is flying to load up with the same cargo, which was aboard the northbound plane. This is a closely guarded secret. Here, a 3-man team of scientists sent to Antarctica by their country, supposedly to study weather and wildlife. Wildlife? What? Penguins? Have found what they saw. Unbelievable mineral wealth, including almost pure uranium, which in today's nuclear world means power.
The reactors are now producing energy in our underground caverns. Comrade Marshal.
In 24 hours, we will have a bomb that weighs less than 100 pounds, but can wipe out a continent.
Wow, it's cool. So there's their base. See the whole map in case you want to visit. You won't get lost. The ice at the South Pole is 8,500 feet thick in places. Well, here at the Balkan nation's secret city in the ice, it is less than 1,000 feet, down to the incredibly rich minerals which are being utilized to create a new world aggressor.
There, Marshal, it is ready. This is pure mineral, a sensitive mass which must be handled carefully. We can bring democracy and the communist slave masters to their knees now. We will rule the world.
The Peacemaker's unique jet is hurtling at 2,300 miles per hour across Antarctica. His radar and infrared scanners probing the secrets of the ice continent below. Peacemaker to Icebox. I've located unregistered large installation. I'm investigating further.
Unidentified jet aircraft fire heat-seeking missiles.
The Peacemaker is also discovered a tracking missile. I've got to confuse its computer. First, kill the jet engine. Next, fire a parachute flare. The sensitive instruments in the missile seek the heat of a jet's exhaust, but the Peacemaker has switched off his power. Now the only heat in this cold place comes from the parachute flare. Then a twist of fate. As the missile locks in, the flare drops toward the attacker's own position. A missile is heading toward us! Boom. Meanwhile, the Peacemaker's jet, without power, is not going to crash. A huge parachute of his own design, again, floats the tough aircraft to the frozen earth. I've got to find out what they've built under the ice. I'll come back for the plane later. Well, I guess so. Now I've got to find a way to penetrate their defenses. But the alarm is sounded, and the guns are manned.
Send a patrol to find this intruder. Yes, Comrade Marshal.
The battle is on. The battle is on, and the patrol is met by a sudden and paralyzing surprise. Nerve gas, quicker than bullets and not as fatal. It's pretty fatal. Whoops. Obviously, I can't launch a frontal attack against those odds. Wait, a ventilation duct. It must lead to the underground area. Sure. This shaft is at least 700 feet deep. I hear the throb of machinery. I must discover what they've got down here.
Electric eyes indicate unauthorized man in main ventilation duct. He's hurtling downward and is at the 600 foot level. Turn on the jet fans. Feed the air from the duct to the nuclear furnaces. He'll be incinerated in a split second.
The banshee screams of winds in excess of 1,000 miles per hour warn Peacemaker of the danger. Even his powerful jets cannot reverse his drop toward the inferno below. Oh shit. Oh no. Nuclear furnaces. But I can't die until I block the plans of these madmen. No. If I must die, then let my death serve a useful purpose instead of slowing down. I'll go even faster. What? How fast is the quote-unquote Peacemaker moving as he enters the fiery maw of the fiercest heat ever generated by man? He doesn't know. but he's breaking the sound barrier. Sound waves form around his hurtling form. Dense, insulating sound waves. I don't even feel the heat. Sure. Yeah. That'll work. Oh, look. Brought to you by all this crap. Yeah, tricks. I don't know, signs. I don't know, patches, sports flags, some other crap you can get in the mail. Oh, and Batman. So there you go. And now back to our story. Bursting through the massive walls of the nuclear furnace, the quote-unquote Peacemaker destroys the evil machinery they have built. Technicians flee. The military genius whose hand was shaping the work of the scientist perishes in the heat of the cauldron he has created. Jeez. I don't know, but the shock waves which built up around me cushioned the impact. But I'd hate to have smashed walls with my head very often. They're through here. I'd better help get them all out of this mess. There is surprisingly little loss of life, thanks to the quote-unquote Peacemaker. And then it's time for the quote-unquote Peacemaker to leave. I've got a call to make on a Balkan diplomat named Fetternich. Typically, Christopher Smith does not publicly humiliate comrade diplomat Fetternich after that gentleman learns that his nation's secret installation has been destroyed.
In behalf,
Don't you mean on behalf?
of my country and for myself, I apologize most humbly.
My country bears no animosity, and we wish to resume cordial relations. Comrade diplomat Fetternich. Damn, I cut myself shaving. Up here, too. I had some hairs growing out of my ears, and I shaved them off, and now I'm bleeding. Hey, look, it's that guy who sharded outside London. Yeah. Well, anyway, the end. Oh, boy, that was exciting, wasn't it? So there you go. A little more Peacemaker stories or adventures than originally intended. See? That's cool. And now you're all caught up on Peacemaker 1. More or less. So there you have it. Oh boy, wasn't that fun and exciting? Yeah. So that'll do it for this edition of Mr. Nailsin Sunday. Man, my voice managed to survive because it's getting rough here. Oh, something about being up. What else am I going to do? Nothing. All right, that'll do it. We'll visit again soon, maybe tomorrow night, something like that. And I'll see you then. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.